The guy has monstrous legs, arguably his best body part, but he never had that when he was growing up. And so one thing you should appreciate is that you can follow someone's advice who's always had a great body part, or follow someone who developed a great body part through hard work and determination. Coach Greg, in today's video, we're going to talk about how you can grow your legs. And in doing so, we're going to be following Will Tennyson's advice. Have you seen the guy's legs as of late? The guy has monstrous legs, arguably his best body part, but he never had that when he was growing up. And so one thing you should appreciate is that you can follow someone's advice who's always had a great body part, or follow someone who developed a great body part through hard work and determination.
Here's a picture of me in jorts, back when leg day was for another day. Here is me in those same jorts, fitting like Pamela Anderson, trying on a junior high training bra.
And so Will's looking like a track cyclist. He looks like he's going to race Coach Greg on Zwift. Look at the quads, the sheer size. And so clearly he's doing something right.
I train every muscle group twice per week. So I train Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So my leg days are on Monday after 2 full days of rest, so I can give it everything I got.
And so the first thing to notice is Will's training his legs twice a week. In comparison to doing a bro split where you're training them perhaps once a week, this allows him to have twice the opportunities to grow if he was training them only once. And so in comparison, you don't have to completely annihilate your legs. Most people, they dread leg day. They train their legs doing so much volume they can hardly walk for days after. But in training Will style, he only has to be in the gym 4 days a week. That's not bad. You can commit to 4 days in the gym. And so in training your body half one day, half the next, you only need to train 4 days a week to allow each muscle 2 chances to grow. And personally, I train my body 3 days a week, only 3 times in the gym, but I train my entire body on each of those days. I don't have to do as much volume. I can get in and out. I'm rarely sore. And so I prefer this training right now. And on my days off, I'm racing bikes on Zwift. Would love to see Will train and race on Zwift. The guy has powerful legs, stronger than Coach Greg, can out squat me. And so if he were to train on Zwift, I'm certainly could give me a good challenge.
I highly recommend starting with the hamstrings first. I don't know what it is. I'm not a scientist. I don't know anything about the human anatomy. It will just feel a whole lot better. So start with your hamstrings.
This is great advice for most people. Most people, they neglect the hamstrings. They walk into the gym and they start training their quads. Perhaps they're doing leg extension, squats, and so on. And if you're someone who has weaker hamstrings, which is in fact most people, nothing wrong with starting with the hamstrings. In comparison, I rarely have to train my hamstrings. They grow with ease, likely one of my best body parts. And so I rarely even train hamstrings. But for most people without my genetics, you likely have to train your hamstrings. And if you save them for the end of your workout and neglect them, well, you may not get the development that you need.
Typically what I do is I'll pyramid up in weight, down in reps. So first set 15 to 20 reps, then 12 to 15, 10 to 12, and then 8 to 10.
And one thing I like is Will pyramids up in weight. He starts with a very light weight, 15 to 20 reps. He then increases the weight, does 12 to 15, then 10 to 12, then his last heaviest set, 8 to 10. And so the beauty of this, he's properly warming up the muscle. Oftentimes I see people going to the gym, they don't even do a warm up, and they go and start warming up with 5, 8, maybe 10 reps. It's not enough. If you're doing a warm up, you need to properly engage the muscle. Develop the proper mind-muscle connection, get used to the exercise, and do so with a lighter weight first so that you're properly warmed up before you lead to a heavier weight. If you go heavy too fast, you're very likely going to get injured.
Tip number 2 is that you don't need to squat, just like you don't need to make eye contact in bed. It's intense, but it doesn't guarantee results.
And tip number 2, you don't need to squat. I agree with this. Although I was a power bodybuilder for years and I always did squats, I no longer do them. It get hip pains, it tends to hurt my lower back. And so although the squat is the king of all exercises, if you don't like them or you can't execute them properly, you don't have to do them. There are a lot of other choices that can make up for this, and I'd much rather see you doing something you enjoy than forcing yourself to go through an exercise that you hate.
I used to squat heavy all the time and I got nowhere, but the second I started implementing hack squats and leg press, my legs blew up.
Those are the exact 2 exercises I do to replace the squats. I rarely do both exercises on the same day. I simply don't need to, but remember, I train my legs 3 days a week. And if I overtrain them or I do too much volume, in addition to the fact I'm racing bikes, then I'll never recover. And so feel free to do both of those exercises on any given day, or if you like, do a little bit of one, a little bit of the other. It all adds up from there.
So you don't need to go crazy heavy low reps. I did that before, got nowhere. The first couple sets will feel kind of easy, and then towards the end, I promise you it's gonna kill you.
And so I have to agree, I don't like seeing people lifting so heavy. Most people doing squats, bench, deadlifts, all these exercises, they're rarely getting even 10 or 12 reps. They're doing it heavier, they're thinking they're getting more gains, but in reality, they're not. You can gain just as much muscle doing a set of 10 to 12 or even 12 to 15 or even 20 as you can do in sets of 5 to 8. The difference is when you do higher rep sets, there's a greater time under tension. They are harder to do. You have to be mentally strong to complete them, but you're a lot less likely to get hurt.
A lot of people say to do the hard stuff, which I totally agree with, but you have to remember that the hard stuff is also the fun stuff if you let your mind comprehend it as such.
Now, Will says you got to do the hard stuff. And for me personally, the hard stuff is in fact the fun stuff. If it's not hard for me, it's less fun. If I'm riding on a bike and I'm not pushing myself, I'm not racing, I'm not trying to go as hard as I can, I don't find that enjoyable. And so if I had to go to the gym and never train to failure, never push beyond what I can do, I wouldn't like it. I don't want to stop 5 reps in reserve or 3 reps in reserve. I want to go harder than last time. And so unless you're a beginner, intermediate, please try to push yourself. Do things that are hard and make the things that are hard enjoyable. And speaking of hard, if you can't get it hard, pick up a bottle of Harder Than Last Time for your downstairs needs. Code Greg, 10% off. Click the link in the description.
A good cue is hamstrings to your calves. From right here to here, is you get majority of the quad activation and growth.
Earlier in the video said he wasn't an expert on anatomy and physiology and so on. And remember, he's not a kinesiologist, but I can tell you, you don't have to touch your hamstrings on your calves to get quad and leg development. And for the most part, if you're getting 2/3 of the way down, you're going to get most of the gains for your quads. Hamstrings, yes, you do want to go a little bit further. And if you really want to work the hamstrings hard, and I do mean harder than last time, pause at parallel. There's no need to go beyond parallel. It can in fact strain some people's knees. Not saying it's going to for everyone. For me it is. And if you do experience hip pains or you have a lack of flexibility, you don't have to squat that low. And so what I like to tell people is to try to squat to parallel if you can. If you can't, try to go 3/4 of the way down. If you still can't do that, go halfway down. Doing a half or partial rep is still going to be better than doing nothing at all. But if the reason you're not going all the way down is because you're ego lifting, then leave your ego at the door, lighten the weight and do a proper repetition and try to go to parallel. But if you simply can't due to your genetics, your doctor's advice, such as mine, saying don't go further than halfway down, then listen to your doctor. And remember, I'm not your doctor.
Legs is one of those things where at like rep 6 or 7, you feel like you're done, but trust me, you have more every time. Every time.
And so Will's right. Even on this set where he was going very hard, you could clearly see he had more. But listen, you don't have to go to failure on every single set. The guy's doing 6 sets of 10 to 12 reps. So as long as he's going within 2 or 3 reps of failure on all these sets, he's going to get some progress. Perhaps he wants to go to failure on the last set or even failure and beyond, does partials. But if you're doing multiple sets, don't think you can go beyond failure on every single rep. You're going to overtrain. And remember, Will is in fact natural and his legs are growing. And so clearly he's doing it right. Perhaps in future years, he'll have to go even harder than this, but right now everything's working. Don't think you need to go to failure on every single set. And if you're looking for a great way to progressive overloads in this exercise, try adding bands. When you get to the bottom of this movement, it's very difficult to get out of the hole, but once you're halfway up, the leverages, they're at your advantage. It becomes very easy. And so if you add in bands, you can slowly lower the exercise till you're in the hole, pause the weight, and then explode on the way up, creating a much better feel. Please give it a try. I guarantee you're going to like it.
This year, I can guarantee you my legs are going to beat people on stage. It's going to be my strongest body part. It's all about the work that you put in. Don't blame genetics. Just blame your fucking self and your fucking hard work.
And remember, Will's legs were below average a couple of years ago, and now they're above average. And so he might have blamed his genetics, but if you don't train 2, 3, maybe even 5 years, how will you really know? You have to train properly, eat properly for multiple years before deciding how good you're going to get.
Now, other than convincing my girlfriend that I actually like her friends, nothing is more exhausting than the Bulgarian split squat. I hate the exercise because I suck at it.
And speaking of the Bulgarian split squats, have you seen Robert Forsman, that track cyclist, Olympic cyclist? You've seen the guy's legs. They're over 30 inches. The guy, one of the best sprinters in the world. He does this exercise with one leg on the bench with 500 pounds. And so clearly it's working for Robert. He's a great cyclist. And perhaps if Will continues to do this, we'll perhaps once see him on the Olympic stage racing bikes.
Training legs is painful. You gotta find another gear, man. And just stick with the set. Don't fail. Embrace the pain. And eventually you'll get used to it. It'll be a lot easier.
And speaking of making it a lot easier, try and pick up a bottle of GO2 Max, the main ingredient NMN, makes your cardio that much better. It's been shown in double-blind, placebo-controlled human studies, not lab rats, none of that stuff. It's not the placebo effect to have a dramatic effect on your fitness. 50% improvement in the walking test scores. This supplement, it's my #1 supplement. It's better than all the others. And so if there's one supplement you want to try above anything, this is the one I'd recommend for you. Code Greg, 10% off. Pick it up in bulk. You can get serious discounts. Head over to the website right now or after this video.
Last exercise we're gonna do is the leg extension, 3 sets. First set, 15 to 20, then 12 to 15, and then 10 to 12 for the last set with a little surprise. I'll let you guys know in a second.
And so next up, 3 sets of leg extensions, and notice the reps go down on each set. And the reason for that, because he's getting tired, he's getting fatigued. And so if you're pushing hard as your exercises are going, oftentimes your legs are gonna get weaker. And because they're getting weaker, you're gonna have to use less weight or do less reps. And so remember, the guy is doing a lot of reps. He's not training super heavy. He's going through the reps using proper range of motion, time under tension, mind-muscle connection. And so this is gonna work. Also, if you're training like Will, getting that lactic acid burn, please get up between sets and walk around. The lactic acid, it's pooling into your legs. One thing you can take to buffer lactic acid, push out more reps, especially if you're doing drop sets or circuit training or training harder than last time, longer than last time, beta-alanine. This ingredient, beta-alanine, it's often put in pre-workouts. And why? Because it actually works. Scientific human studies show this stuff is legit. 5-time CrossFit champion Matt Fraser said beta-alanine gave him a third lung, and I do believe it. This is one of the best supplements you can take, especially if you push yourself to failure and or beyond in exercises lasting close to a minute. And so if you're a racing cyclist like me, or you're going to the gym doing high rep sets, high time under tension, perhaps you're doing partial reps, forced reps, or supersets, well, beta-alanine, an amazing supplement to try. And one thing I really don't recommend after doing a very difficult set or sprinting, racing on a bike, doing cardio is laying down. It's not good. You want to keep your legs moving. What happens is the blood, it's pooling into your legs, and due to the milking action, which occurs when your muscles are moving, it helps to pump the blood back up to the heart. If you lay down suddenly, you could actually get dizzy, pass out, and so on. So please, if you're going really hard, training like Will here, or doing hard sets of cardio, don't stop and rest and lay down.
The last thing I end my workouts off with, not just leg days, but every workout, is walking 10 minutes backwards on the treadmill. Really good at increasing the flexibility.
And next up, walking backwards on the treadmill. I tried this for the first time when warming up with Paris at the gym when we trained together, and I did in fact like this. I got a huge pump in the quads.
My other leg day is pretty similar to what we just showed you, except instead of hack squats, I'm doing leg press. So I'm doing like 5 or 6 sets of 10 to 12 reps on the leg press.
And so just like many people like to do with their women or their boyfriends, they like to mix it up. And so Will, on his next training day, he likes to do something different. He switches the positions around. Rather than doing seated hamstring curls, he does lying hamstring curls. Rather than doing the hack squat, he does the leg press. But he does about the same amount of sets. It takes him the same length of time.
Nothing like super insane, like 40 sets, walking lunges, superset with a bunch of this stuff. Just focus on a few basic movements, master them, get good at them, get strong at them, and your legs will grow.
And one last supplement, if you're looking to get faster gains in the gym, aside from creatine, of course, most people are already taking that, you can certainly take Ecti Builder. The variety of Ecti steroids have been shown in human studies, that's right, in humans, to work in the real world. It's not the placebo effect. Of course, some people get a placebo effect from it. But in addition to a placebo effect, of course, anything can give you a placebo effect. It has been shown to work in the real world. And of course, depending on your genetics, some people are going to be hyper responders, some poor responders, but for me, I was able to add on a significant amount of lean tissue in adding in Ecti Builder. And so if you're interested, click the link in the description, code Greg, 10% off for this and all the supplements in the back that you see. And don't forget the cookbook, the training book, the coaching plans by me and my team, phone consults, click the link in the description. If you got no money, that's okay. Free training and diet program, over 50 pages. Enter first, last name, email address. It's going to go directly to you. No excuses. Get started on your fitness journey today. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment for the algorithm. Don't forget, like the video if you liked it. Watch one of those 2 bloops, whatever one, I don't care. Follow me on Instagram, Greg Doucette IFBB Pro. Remember, I'm not even on TikTok, but there's a guy with so many followers on TikTok. People are walking up to me all the time saying, hey, see you on TikTok. You're a TikToker. I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't have TikTok. Regardless, until next time, I'm out.